YouTube world, this is Teri Joyedian, lightworker and adventurer. Today's topic is... oh, I forgot it. Oh no, I'm gonna start over. Hello YouTube world, this is Teri Joyedian again. I don't know what happened with that last video I made, I apologize. Maybe that will go in the outtakes. I don't know. So, maybe I could edit it. I don't know. Anyway, still getting used to YouTube. So, today's topic is, who told you you're not okay? I wrote it down this time so I wouldn't forget. Who told you you're not okay? And I'm not really so interested in the who of that answer or the what or whatever the answer to that question is, but just the question itself, the whole concept behind it, that somehow you started believing that you're not okay. And this came to me from an experience that I had last week on Friday. Last week, I had a couple of karmic lessons that socked me. It started Monday into Tuesday. I reached out to my coach. She helped me work through it. And then I got socked with a new one Thursday. Ended up having a disagreement with Brian. It was all on my side. And carried into Friday. And then I had a healing experience with Brandy from the Kirk Center for Healthy Living. I had seen her a year before, and that had been an interesting experience. But this time I had a little bit more knowledge of what she does, and she went a little bit deeper with things. And I came in, and she did visceral therapy. I was going to have that ready too. See, so it happens when you don't have an outline. I believe it's also called visceral manipulation. Looking it up on the glorious YouTube. Yeah, it's called visceral manipulation. It's a type of physical therapy, and it starts in the head. So she started in the head, and I don't know, she was like feeling in there for where the body was drawing her to work. And what she explained is that the body is all connected, everything is connected, and things that may be bothering you in one part of your body may be related to something that's off somewhere else in your body. And that's why she lets the body tell her where to go when she evaluates a new patient. And so she did some work with my digestive system, which you can't see. Let me see. She did some work in here, and she was talking about the different sphincters. I didn't realize we had more than one. Apparently they're throughout our entire body, specifically the ones in the digestive system, and different sections of tubing and things like that. She knows the wording better than I can remember. And they'll either be fine and kind of will turn a certain direction, or they'll be spasming and will turn in the opposite direction, or they'll be frozen. And in my body, I had a part that was frozen, a part that was spasming higher up somewhere, and a part that was frozen. And so she had to get it to the frozen part, she had to get to a point that was spasming. And then once it was spasming, get that back the right way, and that automatically cleared up what was up here. And she said that can happen because of extreme stress or eating things your body doesn't like, can't handle. And I was thinking could be either of those because I love sugar. So that was the first part, which led into the second part where she said, now your body is drawing me into the emotional level. And she did this thing where she starts, I don't remember exactly where in the head, but somewhere in the back of the head, and she said, your head is actually a map from the back of the head up until, I think it's the tip of the forehead. And this is kind of the backward screen, so I can't do it here. So you start at 0 years of age and go all the way up to your age minus 36. So between there, you have all your years of your life, and she'll slowly go through it. And it's similar, like there'll be points where she gets stuck, and there'll be points that she can move through. And she got stuck at age 5 for me. And so she said, well, this is a little bit tougher because, you know, sometimes it's hard for people to remember. See if anything, you have any ideas? And I said, well, I do have a few ideas. I asked, you know, is it? And she said, I'm gonna ask your body. So if you have some ideas, we'll test it on your body. And she said, like kinesiology, I believe is what she was doing. So she's like, I'm gonna see what's a yes for your body and what's a no. And she was doing it back here. So she was like, this is Brandy Kirk, like me, you know, like me saying I'm Brandy Kirk, and she's like, okay, that's your body's no, and then she said, this is Teri Carl, and she got that my yes. So then she was able to ask questions, and the first question I asked was, it had to do with my parents, you know, some kind of tension or anything with my parents, and my body said no. So then I said, okay, well then is it the birth of my sister? Because my sister was born, she's 4 years apart from me, so about age 5. Could have been age 4, but you know, your insides know, your body knows, and she got a yes from my body. And so then she, you know, wanted me to see what came up with that, and I was thinking, well, it's probably the basic stuff. It's, you're not the center of your parents' world anymore. Even now, as I say it, I can feel a little bit emotional there, like. It logically, I know that happens with sisters. My parents were never had any favoritism, at least that I could sense, you know, overtly. They were always really fair between the two of us. They always supported the two of us. So, but as a child, and as a person who likes attention, who likes control, and can be the center of her own universe, that I can see how that would be a devastating, traumatic experience for me, feeling that shift when my sister was born. And what came up for me is I was feeling selfish for having that experience, that maybe disappointment, and not being the center of the world anymore. And I didn't want to be selfish. And I just started crying. And like I was telling her this, the selfish part, and she's like, yeah, go with that because your body is responding. And she was able, as I was crying and talking about the selfish part, she was able to move beyond where she was stuck and make it through. So that was it. And she continued working, and I definitely felt a release on my left side, because after we were all done and I got up, my left side felt heavy as I was walking around. It was really interesting. But part of me was thinking, well, what do I do with this? I know a release just happened, but what do I do with this? And the universe is always there trying to work with you. You could say God, the angels, whatever you want to call the help you receive, the support you receive. The universe is trying to reach you and trying to support you, even when we can't sense it in our own way, or we're in denial of sensing it or whatever. And I was sharing it with someone. I was sharing my experience with the head timeline and the feeling selfish. And the person I was sharing with it said, well, you know you are selfish. Based on some of the things that you've been talking about lately, you are selfish. Which at first, I had the reaction of like, what the heck? Why would you say that to me? But then it became a gift, because then I was able to take my experience further. I was able to think about it. And as I was thinking about it and processing it, the first thought that came to me was, first of all, as with any word that has an opinion associated with it, has a description associated with it, it's subjective. one person's selfish is another person's selfish. It's a very subjective thing. People are subjective. That was my first thought. And then my second thought was, which is leading me into the topic today, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with being selfish? Where did I learn that I wasn't okay for the feelings that I was having? See, feeling a little bit emotional right now. What told me it was not okay to be disappointed? Maybe even devastated. I don't know. There was a huge emotional reaction there. What taught me that that was not okay and that I was not okay for being who I was and for now being who I am? And just taking the selfish part a little bit further and the universe connection, I think it was a week before this happened, someone was talking about how everybody is selfish. And I was like, yeah, I've heard that before. But it didn't sink in. I didn't take it in until I had that significant experience last week. But it's true. On some level, everybody is selfish. We have to be. We have to focus on ourselves. Otherwise, we can't make sure we're okay, in a good place of healing, in a good place of wholeness, and we can't fully help others. And people who do help others, we all help others at some time or another. Every time we help others, we're helping the whole, and we're part of the whole. So you could say that's selfish. People will also help others because it makes them feel good, or because it will help them go to heaven. That could be considered selfish. So there's so many different ways you could look at it, but the most important thing I took out of that was that somehow out of that experience, I decided that I was not okay. That I was not okay. And it doesn't matter where that came from. It doesn't matter if it came from somewhere in my family. It doesn't matter if it came from something I was experiencing in society. It doesn't matter if it came from a past life or a different aspect of myself, unless it helps me release it. Because what really matters is that it's not true. That I am okay, just as I am. We are the ones that put judgments on ourselves and others. We are the ones that decide good and bad, evil and good. Perfection? I don't know. Perfect and imperfect. We're the ones that live in that dual world and who put labels on things. And sometimes it's helpful and sometimes it's really not. My message today is, I'm okay. And you're okay. We're okay. And we're doing good. We're doing the best we can. And there are a lot of great teachings out there. What I've been thinking about recently, because someone shared it with me again, is the 4 truths. Miguel Ruiz, not coming to me now. But one of them is, do not take offense. Well, if you believe in your heart of hearts that you're okay, then you can't take offense. You can't. Because whatever you experience outside yourself is not going to affect you. It's not going to change who you know you are at the core. So, I love you. And I love myself. And we're all okay. And if you're watching this video, I hope you can take that in. Because that's a world changer, folks. Knowing that we're okay. It's going to knock out some drama. And it's going to give us a lot less stress on our entire body, your digestive system, your back, whatever. It's going to change our lives. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you again soon. I apologize if this video started weird. If it did, I'm going to try to fix it. And much love and many blessings.